Today on RPG Horror Stories, we are covering possibly the worst first session of D&D for a new player, including a power gaming, rules lawyering that guy playing a lawful good paladin taking control of another person's character. Without further ado, let's get started. I have been trying to get my girlfriend to play D&D again. It's been a bit of an uphill battle since her first impression was an absolute horror story. My cousin invited me to a game he was DMing and hosting. I had not played in a few years and was very excited to try 5th edition. I asked my live-in girlfriend if she wanted to give it a try. She said it sounds like it could be fun, but she is not sure about the rules. I told her, just say what you want to do, and we will use the rules to determine if that happens or not. When we are driving there, I kinda go over the basics. We use dice rolls on a d20 to decide how well your character does something. For example, you can say, I jump on the table, and do a dance. You describe the dance, and we roll a d20 and use some numbers to determine how well you do what you are describing. She seems to get it. Me and my girlfriend got there a little early so we could make her character sheet. I decided to make her a warlock. With the limited spell slots, I thought it would be a good way to wrap her head around magic, and when in doubt, she can always just do Eldritch Blast. She is also really into witches, tarot cards, and stuff, so I thought it would be a fun roleplay for her. The party was my cousin DMing, his wife playing a lawful good wizard, our two longtime mutual friends playing a chaotic neutral fighter, a chaotic good barbarian, and then this guy I did not know playing a lawful good paladin. I rolled a lawful neutral rogue. The game started well enough. Pretty generic opener. We all had the same dream and we were instructed to go to the inn in this small town. It was basically you all meet at the inn, but with an extra step so we can all have a moment to develop our characters. Everyone tried to improv some scenes with their character. When it was my turn, I made a joke that my rogue was blackout drunk the night before and already ended up at the inn, to his surprise. The paladin, visibly impatient, says, I wake up at the inn as well, so we can just move along. My girlfriend, now nervous and the last person to go, said, oh, yeah, okay, I wake up at the inn too. My cousin, picking up on the impatience, sets us along on the path that directs us to a dungeon. We all pile into a cart and make our way down a road. We take shifts, sleeping and keeping watch. I say, while I am laying down before I start sleeping, I carve a hole in the side of the cart. Pally interrupts me. Why does that matter? I ignore him. Can I roll to see how big the hole is? DM, yeah, sure. I roll a 5. DM just says, yeah, it's pretty small. The pally interrupts, hey OP, stop wasting our time with this crap, you always waste time like this. Every time there is a shift change, I keep carving at the hole. Paladin says again, stop it with this stupid hole, that is not how you're supposed to play, I just want to get to the dungeon. DM says, the hole has gotten pretty big. Eventually, the party stops to camp for a long rest since we can't all sleep in the cart. They lay out their bedrolls around the fire, I sleep in the cart. I hear the DM roll some dice. My girlfriend's character wakes up to being dragged away. She says, oh god, what should I do? Paladin just says, kill it, in all caps. Girlfriend responds, how? Paladin just says, attack it. My girlfriend is panicking. I lean in and say, what do you think your character would do in this situation? Girlfriend says, I scream. The DM responds, she screams. The creature turns to notice you are awake. Everyone does a constitution check to see if you wake up. I pass. I grab my bow and draw it, aiming through the hole I carved earlier. DM says, since your hole has gotten quite large, you can roll with advantage and get surprise. I roll 12 plus 4, 17 plus 4. Paladin responds with, you can't do that. The best he could get is a plus 2 to AC for his cover. DM says, well, he already rolled. I trigger Assassinate, which is 35 damage, and drop this beast in one hit. My girlfriend jokingly says, my hero. Paladin responds with, I get up and run out to see if there are any more of them. DM says, just then you are ambushed by 3 more orcs. We then drew the encounter on a dry erase map. I use my bonus action to hide in the cart again, I roll a 10 plus 8, and re-roll for initiative. Every time it was my girlfriend's turn, the paladin had no patience for her trying to figure things out. He would just say, "Use Eldritch Blast!" He was constantly trying to take her turn for her instead of just giving her a second to do things for herself. This went on for a while. The paladin had no interest in role-playing and was just trying to get things to combat as soon as possible. He was an absolute rules Nazi and a power gamer. I'm the type of player that likes to roleplay and likes to think of interesting ways to approach a combat situation. Every time I tried to do so, he got aggressive with me, saying I was wasting everyone's time. I started getting pissed at the Started? Friend, you have the patience of a saint. Anyway, it all came to a head when we were in this encounter where we were in this big dark room. There was light poking in from the ceiling. My girlfriend was human, so her hits kept missing due to the lack of light. I told her, "Hey, try hitting the ceiling to create more light." When it was her turn, she said, "I shoot the ceiling." Paladin responds with, "No, you can't do that, that won't work, just keep using Eldritch Blast." She got really discouraged and just went back to shooting the baddie, and missing, I presume. I then used my turn to steal his gold. He got furious but couldn't do anything about it since I passed my sleight of hand check and stealth, so could do it undetected, resulting in him knowing, but his character not knowing. Of course, after the encounter, he randomly decided to count his gold and then instantly assumed it was me when it came up short. My girlfriend stopped wanting to do D&D after like 2 sessions. I stopped after 3. Her first impression of the game could dictate that it is about knowing all the rules and just non-stop fighting, despite me trying to tell her it was just a bad experience. As far as the paladin, I talked to my cousin and he said it was a lot better when he was not drinking, but personally, I think he was just jealous because he was the only single guy there. Introducing new players to D&D is something that is really important. First impressions are everything most of the time, and especially with something like Dungeons & Dragons. If someone goes into something like Dungeons & Dragons without much expectation, and the first thing they experience is something like this, a stressful, unfun scream fest with that guy running the game, essentially, well, yeah, that's not fun at all. Don't overwhelm people with rules straight out the gate. When you introduce someone to video games, you don't give them Dark Souls the first time. I know that's an extreme example, but it illustrates the point. Anyway, to the problem player, this lawful good paladin, yeah, that's definitely not okay. We've talked a lot about players taking control of the game recently, and I'm seeing this recurring theme of DMs not standing up to their players. This one's actually unique though, because it feels like the DM is defending this paladin because they have a prior relationship, because they are friends. The comment about how he plays much better when he's not drunk, that is a definite sign that the DM and the paladin have a prior relationship, and that results in the DM being a bit softer. Look, playing games with your close friends and your family, that is awesome. It is amazing, but you cannot let that prior relationship stop you from calling someone out because they're ruining the game for other people at the table. Anyway, I hope OP's girlfriend tries D&D again. It seems like when it was going well, the two of them were having a lot of fun. The move where he cut the hole in the side of the cart, that was pretty awesome. So yeah, really hope they try the game out again. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Sorry that the next 2 episodes are going to be a bit shorter than they usually are. I'm going on vacation and I don't have time for the longer RPG horror stories, hence why the analyses are getting longer and the stories are getting shorter. But we will get back to longer stories after this week is done. If you guys enjoyed this episode of RPG Horror Stories and you want to let me know, then please do hit that like button. If you want to see more episodes of RPG Horror Stories as well as my other content, then please do subscribe to Crispy's Tavern. And finally, if you want to leave your own stories or thoughts, go down to the comments down below. In essence, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all next time. Farewell.